Welcome to the Rewards Master Live Extra. I think this is the eighth one of these that I've done, and I do them sometimes on Fridays when I don't have a travel video to publish or I'm still working on editing some of the stuff I do have coming up, which is what's going on this week. So, um, just thank you everybody for those of you who've tuned in. Now, the first thing I want to make sure that I recognize is that Dr. Godo has become a YouTube member. So join the channel. And Dr. Godo, I guess that's how you pronounce Cajun. I'm not too good at that, but I think that's right. Great to have you as a channel member. I hope you enjoy the member content, and it's great to have you here. There's several who've already joined in and saying hello. Great friend of the channel, Mr. Mike Newland, says, hey, we all like extras, and we got one from Rewards Master tonight. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm grateful to have you here, Mike. Good to have you here. Free Music says, hello, Road Master. Looking forward to Q&A. All right. Good to have you here, Free Music. Juan Garcia, good evening, Bob. Good evening to you, my friend. Free Music says, coming in loud and clear. Good, good. I'm glad you can hear good. Dim, hey, Dim. Good to see you. Says, good evening. And then says, Rewards Master, shot you a message on Discord about something we were recently discussing. Yep, and I saw it. And if you want to bring it up, we can talk about it here. If not, we can continue to talk about it on Discord. So, yep, that's great. All right, I think we just have very few in here so far. I think less than 10, but I'm sure we'll get more who jump on here in a bit. But there was a question left in the comments, and it's from Rob Knopper. Rob says, question of the day, considering what's happened to Mesa, are you going to be constantly transferring build out to transfer partners, or would you save them until you're ready to redeem? Well, I think that'll be pretty easy for me to answer, Rob. I'm going to transfer them out. Maybe not, as soon as I earn them. If I have, 3,000 points in there, I probably won't transfer them. But when I get up to 10, 15, 20, I might save it up to 15, 20, 30,000 maybe, just to see what happens on rent day transfer bonuses. But otherwise, I won't collect a huge stack in there. Like sometimes I got 200,000 city points or 300,000 or 400,000 American Express points. I'll just let sit there. I'm gonna, I feel pretty confident that Built's new system is sustainable. I know I'm very different than most on that, but I did a video on that. In fact, some of the comments that we'll go over today are about that. I feel fairly confident that, just from when I've looked at it closely, I think that they've tried to develop to something sustainable. They just aren't very good at rollouts, and they get scared by people being upset and all of that. But at the same time, I know they're a much smaller company, and I value my points. So I'll probably move them to Alaska fairly regularly. So that's my answer to that. All right, we got 17 in here now watching is what it says. See if anybody's hit the like button so far. 6 have, 7 now. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. That would help me out a lot. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that I'm over 2,600 subscribers now, marching forward. Going to hit that 3,000 mark soon. So that'll be awesome. So hit the subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to leave a super chat, super sticker, that helps the algorithm, and it's greatly, greatly appreciated. So, all right, let's see. James says, we love extras. Well, I love you being here, so that's great. A-Tier says, happy Friday, everyone. Good to have you here. Channel member A-Tier, good to have you here. Happy Tom says, good evening, all. Let me guess, Built just revamped their cards. Yeah, probably happened during the show. We've only been on here 4 minutes and 28 seconds, but probably happened during that. That's true. Bill got Mr. Beast safe and sound. Family Travel John says, is there an RM Discord? There is. It's for my channel members. And so, yeah, you should be able to get that. I will post a link to be able to join it in the next day, today or tomorrow, on the as a members only post, John. So be looking for that. Dim says, you guys hear the Aviator Red is becoming AA Platinum and Silver Globe. The silver is becoming the Globe card, and the Aviator Red is becoming the AA Platinum. I had not heard that, but that's exactly what I guessed would happen. That's exactly what I guessed. And you know, the silver card was a little better than the Globe card in some ways, but I'm liking the Globe card, although I haven't really been able to fully test out the 15,000 point loyalty point boost yet, because I'm supposed to right now be working in another state, but we've had snowgeddon going on here in the South. So I actually was stuck on the interstate the other day for 4 hours and went 1 mile in 4 hours. And I'm lucky I was able to find an exit and get off and just cancel my trip, because some people stayed the night on the interstate. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. All right. So let's see what else we got here. To Larry, who's often here, channel member, says hello, Bop, and everyone here. Good to see you, to Larry. Good to have you back. A tier. I have a 10-year-old boy, so Mr. Beast is huge. Oh, yeah. The 10-year-old boys love Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is fun. Dem says, here's the URL with the details. All right, good. Happy Tom became a YouTube member. Welcome, Tom. Welcome. Seen you on here a lot. Welcome to the membership. Good to have you. Free Music says, I hope that City allows us to product change the Aviator Red to something other than Platinum Select, since I already have one. Yeah, all you can do is call. I think that decision could change week to week, because City is notorious for that. I mean, they'll change things, especially on product changing. For the longest time, they would just let you product change from anything to anything. Then they changed it, and then they allowed it again. So I don't know. That's something that's got to be probably you just got to call and ask them. And it might depend. If you call and ask today and they say no, it might be okay in 2 weeks. Let me tell you, City's quirky. They're quirky. I always say, for us, Dim will know this because he has a prestige card. But yeah, they say that someday we're going to lose the prestige card. But I think it's entirely possible that City will just forget about us that have it, and we'll get to keep it. I mean, that's the kind of thing City would do. So, and I love them. I'm the biggest City advocate there is, but that's City. All right, let me see how many we got in here. We got 23 watching, and 14 have hit the like button. So please do so if you haven't done that yet. And let me just go ahead and add to the stage some of the different comments that I thought we could go over. So, wow, oh wow. I try to answer every primary comment that is offered. And in other words, if you comment on somebody else's comment or on my comment to somebody else's, I might not always get to all those, but I try to answer all the primary comments on my videos. But man, it's been a challenge with all this built stuff, because people are really, really, really opinionated. And I mean, it's constant. And so it's, yeah, I'm trying. I'm also seeing a whole lot of strong opinions that can be very, very supportive or very, very ugly. So this might be reflected in some of these comments that I bring up today. Well, this was on my video about navigating the built cash craziness. And this is the video, if you watch my videos, it's the one where I gave my initial reaction, and then I went back and I gave an edit to the beginning and the end. And sure enough, I have changed pretty dramatically from what my initial reaction was to it. But what I was really reacting to was, I mean, it just seemed like so much of a coupon book. And it is a little different than a coupon book, because you get your choice, right? It's not something that you have to use this or you're losing that much value, like say with the credits on American Express or on the Gold Platinum card or on the Elite card with City, whatever. So, but that's not what my initial visceral reaction was. So I responded in that way. Well, Jimmy Duff, great friend of the channel, great guy. He said he's going to pass. He said, don't want to learn another system. My ultimate wallet would be City for points overall and AA miles with the executive card for lounge access. Most flights are Chicago and Tampa. I'll play the Amex Platinum upgrade game for points and experiences. Done. Yeah, and I think this speaks to something that I really tried to discuss in my video from yesterday, and that is there are different ways to play this game. There's, it's just like if you play any video game, right? If you play Baldur's Gate, and some of you may not play that, but my son likes it and he got me to playing it with him. If you play Baldur's Gate, you can play on the easy mode or whatever, or you can play on honor mode. And we always play on honor mode. And it is great satisfaction and it is great frustration at the same time, because on honor mode, if you die, if everybody in your party dies on that game, then, you got to start over, even if you put 40 hours in, which we've had that happen before. So that's kind of like how the credit card game seems to be. You can play it on easy mode, or you can play it on hard mode, or you can play it on honor mode. You can play it on hard mode. And there's more potential for breakage the higher up you go. The higher level you try to play, there's more potential that the banks are going to beat you, that they're going to keep more of your money. But there's also more potential that you're going to keep more of their money, but it's going to take more effort. And so I think that what Jimmy's expressing here, which I get, is some people are like, I don't want to play honor mode. I don't want every time my character dies and I put 12 hours in that I can't reload, that I have to start over at level 1. I played level 1 like a bazillion times. I don't want to see the Nautilus anymore. I mean, it's just, you won't know what that is if you don't play the game, but still, you get the point. I don't want to go through that whole thing again. And I think that's the same thing true with these. I just want easy value, even if it's not quite as much value. I just want some easy value. I think that is a fine, acceptable way to play this game. But then there's a level where you're starting to blend more cards and you're starting to have to juggle credits. But then there's honor mode. And my entire point in the other video was, I think that the new built cash system is honor mode. I mean, it is, especially with the Palladium card. You are playing a game with them where you can win, and you can win big, 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 big. But it's going to take effort, and it is not going to be easy anymore. And you're going to have to think about it, and you might have to spreadsheet it out. And I don't think it's quite as hard or complex as initially we all thought, but it is effort. And so I get it. Jimmy says he'd just rather stick with City. City's awesome. It's awesome. MX Platinum upgrade, downgrade, that's awesome. So I get it. All right, let me go back to some of the comments here. Okay, the first one I want to mention is Polygraph Zone channel member. Good to see you here. Gives a $4.99 super chat. Says, glad to catch a live stream. Just finished my AA Platinum card. What's the soonest I can upgrade to Globe? I know Amex is 1 year. I don't know City rules. Thank you. I think they're 1 year too. If anybody knows any different, let me know. But I think it's going to be a year on that. But I would say to you, why not just wait 6 months and apply for the Globe and get that 90,000 points for that? To me, that would be the better move. And then you can always downgrade the other or change it if they'll let you to something different, like a custom cash or something. That happens every now and again. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So thank you again for that super chat, Polygraph. That is so, so helpful. Getting back to some of the comments. James says, Mr. Beast is huge. He's doing financial education content soon. All right. I wouldn't think of him as an expert in that, but okay, I like him. I mean, he's enjoyable to watch. Spartan Finance, something is going on with Built. Sarcasm. Yeah, something's always going on these days with Built. Man, if they didn't intend to have this much marketing, they sure lucked out, even though some of it's negative press. Press is press, right? Basmo says, finally made it to a live show. You provided a lot of great advice and comments. Thanks for all your help. You're welcome. And thank you for being here tonight. Glad to have you here. Tampa Travel says, hey, Bob, got my Palladium today. Getting ready to rock that card for the next 3 months. Okay, let me ask everybody. This is important. There are 38 watching, so maybe someone can answer. I see all these people getting their Palladium card, and I'm approved for it. It says right there in the app, but mine still says we're making the card, and we'll let you know when it ships. I haven't got any mail for 5 days anyway, because I live in the South, and we had the worst winter situation this week, like I mentioned anyway. But is anybody else still waiting for are they still making your Palladium card? Maybe it's because of alphabetical order or something. I don't know, but let me know. But Tampa, great to know that you got it. Getting ready to rock it for the next 3 months. That'll be great. Basmo says, I want to get both City and Built, but City won't like my recent inquiry card openings with no previous relationship. Is Built like that, or do we not know? I don't think we know. I don't think we know. Before Wells Fargo was, but they seem to be looser with Built card applications before than they were with their own cards. But now I mean, I don't, time will tell. It's just too new. Cesar, hey, my friend, how are you? Says, good evening, Bob, and everybody. Good evening to you, Cesar. Still think all the time about the great time we had in Puerto Rico. Thanks to you, my friend. Juan Garcia says hello to Cesar. Dim says, I'm all in on Built Atmos this year, giving it a fair shot. So I have an informed opinion. For those bashing it without giving it a fair shot, you should do the same. I agree. I think it deserves that. Basmo says, I was approved for Built Palladium with 3 inquiries in the last 6 months. Okay. 3 inquiries. That's not a lot, but that's not none either. So James says, City and Chase are awesome. Okay. Polygraph says, everyone. Hello, everyone. Waving. Happy Tom gifted 1 reward master membership. Thank you, Happy Tom. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that so much. LOL. The irony, for sure. New again. Good to see you, new again. Hey, y'all. Yo, Bob, did any of my scathing comments about Built really make the cut? Or are they too spicy? Well, most of yours, I did read those. And hey, have at it, man. I can be wrong. So if I think you give a great alternate opinion. I'm not sure because I did this earlier today, so I don't remember which ones I did. But I do remember some of yours were like comments to other people's comments, and I didn't do any of those. So there might be a primary in here somewhere, but I can't remember exactly. But you did have some good alternate viewpoints, and I appreciate it. Cesar says, hey, Juan, damn, I converted my Strata to a custom cash less than 4 months after getting the sub with no issues. Okay, there's a data point that's important for you if you're thinking about getting the Globe on top of the Platinum and then also downgrading the other one afterwards. So that's cool. All right, James says, and Dim, you can't use it until 2.7. That's right. Built card doesn't go active until 2.7. All right, let's see. We're almost to the end of the comments. Oh, Juan's still waiting on his Palladium. Good. Whew, I was afraid it was just me. Have they made it yet, Juan? Because mine doesn't say it's shipped yet. It says they're still manufacturing it, and they'll let me know when it ships. And I'm really excited about it. So in fact, Nona's been like, have you checked the mail today? Because she knows I'm excited. And I'm like, we haven't got any mail in 5 days because the roads around here are just still bad. So yeah, but so let me know if they mailed it yet or not. Free music. I got my Palladium card Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. So they must be doing them in batches. Dem says his Palladium is stuck in North Carolina. Okay. Charvicio says my Obsidian already shipped. Will be here Monday. All right. So not everybody has them. Great. New again. City stinks really bad. Anyone that says differently, I'm highly suspicious of. It's well documented how bad they are, and even by federal regulators. Well, I hear that a lot too. I assume you're meaning, assume you're talking about their customer service, but I have had the Prestige card for years, and Dem, I'd be curious for you to tie in on this too, because I know Dem has that too. I've had the Prestige card, and it's got a dedicated customer service number, and I have gotten as good a customer service as I've ever gotten from anybody from City calling that. And our Elite card, our Strata Elite, also has that level. I think that their customer service is very dependent upon what level of card holder you are with them. I'm not saying that's right or that's good, but I'm saying that kind of been my experience at least. And Dim, as another Prestige card holder, have you had the same experience? I'd love to know that. A-tier got denied for all the built cards. Super sad, but definitely not waiting on them making a card. Well, yeah, so you're not anxiously looking at the mailbox like some of us are. One Kevin P, channel member, says mine shipped, supposed to receive tomorrow. Okay, cool. Well, I guess I shouldn't worry about it then. James Nugent, Costco business card, city card. They sent me an offer. Is it any good? I don't really know. I don't have a Costco within 3-hour drive of me. So I love Costco when we used to live near one, but don't have one where I'm close. So if anybody else has any info on that, chime in on it. Gent 7476. Good to have you, Gent. Says I applied for 4 different cards with 2 days before applying for build, and I got approved for Palladium. Okay. 4 different cards within 2 days for built and got approved for Palladium. Yet people who've had the other card for years didn't. They're off their rocker about how they're doing those approvals. I do not know what they're thinking. A-tier says nice. All right, Big Kurt gives a $2 super chat, super sticker. Thank you, Big Kurt. Thank you for being a channel member, and thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Manuel Jimenez, good evening, everyone, from Puerto Morelos, Mexico. Hey, Manuel, good to have you with us. Mike Newland gives his thanks to Tom. Tom picked up 4 cards in December, won 1124, approved for Palladium in January. See, it's just no rhyme or reason to it, but that's awesome. Big Kurt, should I get the executive or premier for City? Okay, when you say executive, when I hear executive, I hear the AA executive card. And when I hear premier, I hear the Strata premier card. So if you're meaning straight AA cards, there wouldn't be a premier, there'd be a platinum. But as far as on the side of, it depends. If you're talking about the City thank you point earning cards, they're both very good. I think the elite card, which is their top level card, that does give 4 Admirals Club passes, but I think the elite card, that's the one you get 6x on Friday and Saturday nights on dining, 1.5x on everything, 12x in their portal on hotels and stuff like that. That, I think that is an awesome card. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But the premier card may be the best mid-level card available because it's 3x, 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 3x on everything for $95. So I think it just depends on how much do you think you'd use the lounge access? Do you eat out a lot and spend a lot of money on Friday and Saturday nights? Are you going to use it as a catch-all? There's a lot of factors there. When you're talking about AA, the executive card, if you don't go, I'm just saying this outright, and I have the AA executive and the AA Globe. If you don't go to AA lounges a lot, I don't think a person should probably have the executive card. I think the Globe card's just as good because you get 4 passes with that. But if you do go a lot, then it can be, I mean, we went in like 30 American Airlines flagship lounges, Admirals Club lounges last year, not the flagship. That's the business class one. But we went in a bunch of times and it was worth it for that. So that's how you have to kind of determine that, Big Kurt. Juan says, don't see in the built app if it's being produced or shipped. Oh, it's under Juan. Let me see. I can probably pull up my built app and see. I think it's when you click on your wallet. Yeah, you click on your wallet and it says built Palladium card in X amount of days. And if you click on that where it says get ready now, underneath the welcome to the new built card, underneath that, mine says we're building your card and we'll let you know when it ships. And if you click on it, it's got like a bar that's either says requested, shipped, or delivered. So check that out. I mean, maybe my app's different, but that's where I saw it. Okay, John Cutter. Good to have you here, John. Should 2 players use the same ecosystem or 2 different? For instance, one has Strata, one has Amex. I think either way is fine. I don't think it matters. I mean, I think you just need to decide. I mean, Nona and I have all the ecosystems basically, and I think you just have to decide because, like, for instance, I can't get in to Capital One. I can't get in, but we got Nona in early on, so she earns all of our Capital One points, and that's just how we do it. So I think it just depends. We just basically go for the cards that give us good sign-up bonuses or cards we like, and then we sort through that ourselves. But some of them are easier because you can move points between you. Like Chase, you can do that. That's super easy. You can with City, but they expire in 3 months, so you got to be careful with that. Okay, that was John. Thanks for the beer. Pretty cool YouTube name. City customer service with the Elite card, Strata Elite is on point. I've called twice since opening the Elite card. Yep, that's what I'm saying. City's like, it's like if you don't have one of their top cards, they send you to their second class customer service center. But if you have one of their top cards, it seems to be pretty good. Nurkan says, how's it going, everybody? My Palladium arrives tomorrow, too. All right, good to have you back here, Nurkan. I know you've been on these before. New again. Thanks, Bob. And to be clear, I'm not saying that no one should get Built or even City, just sharing both info and my point of view. Way too much undue cheerleading and gaslighting in the game. Yeah, I think so. My opinions, I'm not getting, I don't even put out referral bonus, referral links and stuff. I just honestly think it'll be good, but it fits my travel style. So for your information, I have City Elite and AA cards. Okay, cool. And I'm going through it with City over my Strata Elite. Oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. Certainly a different negative data point then. One Kevin P. Anthony Venture got his Built denial reversed yesterday. Yeah, I saw something from him saying that. I saw that. And Izzy, good to see you here, Izzy. Good evening. Good to have you here. And Kevin P. gives a $5 super chat. Thank you, Kevin. Says plan to downgrade Elite to Premier. Palladium will replace Elite. Your opinion on Palladium versus Elite. What would be the better keeper card for you? Well, the Palladium. I love the Elite. We're going to keep them both. But the Palladium is a catch-all card. It is a different kind of card. And yes, the Elite's a catch-all card at 1.5. And, City points are super valuable, just like Built points. But 1.5 versus 2, I'm going to keep the Palladium. But my situation is a little different because I do have the City Prestige card. So that one, if I had to get rid of the Elite, it wouldn't be any skin off my back. So there's that, Kevin. But yeah, if I had to choose one or the other, as long as the Palladium is everything as advertised that we know right now, and who knows, that could change, of course. But as of right now, I'd say, man, getting over 3x on a couple $1,000s or more of spend every month, that's pretty awesome. So that'd be my opinion. Kevin says, for your information, I also have City DC. Okay. All right. Let me go and see. We have 50 watching. That's a good number. And 20 have hit the like button. That's awesome. All right. Let me go to the next one here that I have. This one's on my navigating the Built Cash craziness again. And AKXU5SJ, AK said, to survive, Built is more worried about building. I really like this comment. I thought it was interesting. About building a massive affiliate network, in my opinion. They will make their money on marketing fees on mortgage lenders, realtors, gems, restaurants, etc. Not a bad play if they can focus on the other 95% of the country instead of solely the trendy 45 big markets, big city markets. This will likely be my last year getting platinum status. Let's see if they don't nerf the airline transfers. The last few payday events were so terrible. All right. I think he's meaning the last few rent day things that they offered. Well, let me say this. I think that's maybe part of their strategy because they lean in more heavily on their partners than any bank I've ever seen. They lean in so heavy on use Built dining, use these gyms. But I really appreciated AK noticing 95% of the country that they don't apply it to. If they want to make money off of gyms, they need to sign a contract with Planet Fitness, or Gold's Gym, or some gym system, or even 24-hour fitness. One of those that is everywhere, right? I'm in a community of like 40,000 people, and we have a Planet Fitness, and we have I think Anytime Fitness or one of those. But what we don't have are some of these places that they list, right? Those are in New York City. And then the Built dining restaurants, they aren't getting restaurants, except in major metropolitan areas. And I understand they figure they're going to get a bigger bang for their buck in metropolitan areas, but I think that this comment was really, really astute because they have focused so heavily on those partners. Well, then if you want to do that strategy, great, but broaden the partners, make it applicable to more of America. I thought it was a great comment for that reason. All right, let me see. We got 53 in here watching. I don't think we've had any more comments come through in the last couple of minutes. So we'll go to the next slide. Wait, we just had one. James says, maybe Built's next move, go into the food industry and make their own fast food chains. Maybe, but they partnered with Walgreens. Now that's one that's interesting because every town in America has a Walgreens, it seems like. But why not like a Kroger or something like that? Or, I guess that Kroger's not maybe nationwide, but, they could do something like a Safeway out west or an Albertsons or something like that. I just don't know. I think it's a good idea for them to partner. That seems like a good business model, but they need a broader set of partners, it would seem to me. Background Balloon, good to have you here, says Fire. Good to have you here. Appreciate that. Sleepy Rod, been on travel for a while. Do we know about the Palladium hotel credits now? Is it a general 2-night hotel credit or is it only luxury hotels? From what I'm hearing, and this could change or I could be wrong, but that it's just general hotels, kind of like what Citi does on the Elite card, which I know a lot of people complain about that Citi Elite, but I don't have any trouble on doing a 2-night credit as long as I can choose any hotel I want. So that's at least what I think it is and what, of course, I hope it is. So hopefully that answers the question. All right. Next slide. Comments on this video that I did about a city setup for domestic travel. Now, this has been a series that kind of is deviated from my typical material. A lot of the things on my channel deal with kind of aspirational stuff. It deals with high-level cards, big spend, stuff like that. So Nona and I were talking one time and she's like, you should do some stuff for like who we used to be. Like, because 15 years ago, we had all our kids at home. We were running from practices. My boys playing football. My girls were cheerleaders. We're running back and forth. We're taking them to church youth events. We're taking them to school events. I mean, life was crazy. We had limited time. Our careers weren't quite as advanced as they are. We didn't have as much free time. We didn't have as many resources and as much money. And so she said, the stuff you're saying now wouldn't have applied to us then. Why don't you speak some stuff to who we used to be that would apply to people in that kind of era of life? And so I started that series. And so this video was called A City Setup for Domestic Travel. And I just talked about how I think Citi, for somebody like that, they can get 3 Citi cards and they can kill it. I mean, they can kill it for $95 a year with the Premier card, with a custom cash card, and with the double cash card. And Decayed Mushroom said this. He said, love this video. Do a great job explaining award availability is not easy to find for domestic travel. Citi and Chase make it easy with their transfer partners like Hyatt and American Airlines. Please make more videos like this. All right. What I wanted to focus on was his comment here about explaining that award availability is not always easy to find for domestic travel. That is why I cannot recommend Wells Fargo and that one, very few recommend that anyway, or recommend VentureX to the wide swath of people. Because Capital One, and I suppose, don't they have JetBlue? Maybe they have JetBlue, but that JetBlue has a very limited footprint in this country. Capital One, the only way you're getting domestic flights is you got to use a foreign transfer partner to book domestic flights, which can be done. And it can be done for good award prices. I've done it with Avianca for United. I've done it with Air France for Delta. I mean, it can be done, but it is an advanced play. I mean, you've got more steps, and here's the big thing. And you've got very, very limited award availability in those situations. And I think that's something that we don't talk about enough, especially when people are pushing, oh, the VentureX is the best for the everyday person. Is it? Because I got a call today from somebody that's in my family that need to make a redemption. They're like, how do I use my Capital One points for this? And they're just wanting to make a domestic flight. And I said, well, you know, and I started explaining, let's start looking at Avianca. Let's start looking let's start looking at Air France and looking for Delta. I don't want to do that. What do I do? I'm like, well, you got to use them for 1 cent per point. That's your option, right? And so I just don't think regular folks in the throes of life are going to go to that trouble. And so I appreciated Decayed Mushroom making that observation. All right, going back to comments. We got Free Music says, good to have you here, Free Music. I found some built hotels for around $300 for 2 nights in Madrid that I've already booked and that I can cancel and rebook. Okay, yeah. $300 for 2 nights and you get a $200 credit. It's not too bad. Background balloon. I'm primarily moving my setup to City plus the Chase Freedom Flex, it looks like. I don't have the double cash yet, but it's one of the few cards I'm thinking of picking up this year. Yeah, I mean, City, and you can get it done with City. There's no doubt. Hybrid Vortex says JetBlue has United Awards on its website, but it's not good with Capital One. Okay. Yeah, and do they have good award availability? Because, I mean, is it one of them deals where if you look on United, there's like 60 flights to choose from, and if you look on JetBlue, there's 2? I mean, because that's what you run into on a lot of those. Background balloon. I have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but plan on downgrading it. Don't have the City Strata Premier, and it's not on my roadmap. I travel infrequently and usually road trip. Yeah. I mean, to me, if a person road trips, then that's when maybe some of the hotel cards could be very good, or Chase would be very good for that if you're using Hyatt for people who road trip, I think. Okay, John Cutter says, so you would say Amex has better direct bookings for domestic than Capital One? Not great, but better. I'd say better because at least sometimes I found a Delta flight. Nona and I are going to take a little crazy trip and stay in a couple of high-end hotels in Vegas for a few nights. And I was looking and we found flights home from Vegas for 9,000 points a piece on Delta. It can be done depending on where you're going and when they're flying sometimes. So yeah, that's definitely better than having to, for normal folks who don't want to go to the trouble, having to move it to a foreign airline partner or just get 1 cent per point. So I would say not near as good as Atlas or American, or even United with Chase or Bilt. But you do have Southwest and you do have Delta. It's better than not having any domestic partners like that. Damn, Bilt at least lets you redeem at 1.25 in the portal. Not the best rate, but better than 1. That's right. It's better than 1. And my prediction, and y'all may think I'm dead wrong and out of my mind for this, I think the Venture X is going to change the card pretty soon and make it better because of the competition from Bilt. That's my prediction, at least. I don't know. Hybrid Vortex. Hello, Roadsmaster. Late, but made it. Good to have you, Vortex. Good to have you here. Background balloon. I only really have the IHG Premier and the Hilton Honors no annual fee cards as travel, since my only category for travels is hotels. Well, that makes sense. If you road trip, that's really it. And James says, I like how the City Hotel Portal allows you to book hotels for other people. Yeah, it does. I really wish the American Airlines Hotel Portal did, because then I had a work thing that I was planning and I was booking hotels for a lot of people, and I was like going to get like 50,000 loyalty points through the American Airlines. But you used to be able to do it with the Rocket, was it Rocket Money, Rocket Mortgage? It wasn't Rocket Mortgage, Rocket. Whatever that was, they had a few years ago that you could book and get lots of loyalty points. Well, they don't have it anymore. Now you can't really book for other people. So I wish they did that, but it's good that City does. All right, we got 62 in here watching. That's great. Let's see how many have hit the 26 out of 62 have hit the like button. So hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like I said, I'm over 2,600 subscribers, really marching up the chain here. So I really appreciate that. Also, any super stickers, super chats, any channel memberships gifted, any of that helps as well. So I appreciate it. Thank you in advance. All right, let's go to the next slide here. This was on my video entitled Chase and City Setup for Domestic Travel. Now, this one was kind of a hot take that I had. Because what I did is the Chase card, and I mentioned this in the video, I struggled to figure out any Chase card that added anything to City except just throwing one in there so we could get Hyatt. It's kind of what it comes down to. So I picked what I think is the best Chase card, and it's the $95 Ink. What is it? The Ink Preferred card. Not that premier one that just gets cash back. Not that one, but the $95 one that transfers to partners. Because that card's pretty good. I mean, it gets 3x on several things, like especially on travel. And so that's kind of how I formulated it. That a great setup that would give you access to American Airlines and all that with City, and we also give you access to Hyatt, and then have cards that kind of fit a spending pattern pretty well and be fairly easy. I think the best option is that Ink card. Well, DC Consulting said the Chase Freedom Flex is 7x dining for Q1. Not bad for a no annual fee card that also gives 3x on pharmacy. And I agree. However, I have the Freedom Flex, and Nona has the OG Freedom card that does kind of the same thing. And he's right, and DC's right about that. The Freedom Flex does give the extra 4x on top of the 3x regular dining multiplier. So for this quarter, it's 7x on dining. My thing though is that I just got tired of the rotating category cards. I don't know. I'm like, when you can get more custom cash cards and just get 5x all the time, and it's just, you don't have to mess with that. And then especially for the quarters, if every single quarter they had something good, great. But they don't. So I guess it's just me, but the math is good. I mean, they work out good, but those cards just irritate me, but that's just me. Okay. So let me go back to comments. Let's see. We got 67 watching. That's awesome. 33 have hit the like button. Thank you so much. Background says, by the way, thoughts on staycations. I had a small weekend road trip for a concert plan that involved using my IHG free night award that expires in March. The concert got postponed to a lot later. Got to use my free night award. Yeah, I mean, I think staycations are cool. I mean, we like to do them. They're fun. So yeah, I say go for it. If you don't let it expire, use it. Wupani, good to have you, Wupani. There has been a talk about a Saver X. Do you think that would be a mid card and then Venture X upgrade to premium? I don't know what that Saver X is going to be. But yeah, I think they'll probably try to slide it in there like the airline cards do with the Delta Platinum and with the, now they have the Globe card with American Airlines and such. And then there's the Quest card with United. It seems like they're going to try to make a mid-tier annual fee card that gets some earnings. But I don't know. It's hard for me to even think about Capital One because it's so hard to get their cards, and they limit you to 2 cards. And if Capital One's going to compete, I think they're going to have to change some of that, unless they're just happy with their below prime borrowers. I mean, I don't know what their strategy is going to be ultimately. Dem says 7X is solid. Are you okay sacrificing a better multiplier for a better points program? I am, depending on what we're talking about. So like for instance, would I give up a 2.5, if I got 2.5 chase points on a catch-all card versus the Palladium that gives me 2x build points, I'm going to take the 2x build points. If I had a catch-all card, like for instance, I was using the Elite card as a catch-all to get miles that could transfer to American when I had a Blue Business Plus that got 2x instead of 1.5. So does that answer your question? But of course, there's a point at which I won't. I mean, I won't trade 4x in one for 1.5 in another or something like that. But yes, if it's close, sometimes I will. JB Rothman, channel member, says Citi rotates their dining multiplier on a daily basis, but the quarterly rotation by Chase is a problem. is a problem. Well, dining multiplier, Chitty rotates their dining multiplier on a daily basis. I guess you lost me on that. It rotates their dining multiplier on a daily basis. Explain more. I'll try to answer. Jessica, good to have you. Jessica, channel member, says, hey, Rewards Master, glad to make it to a live extra. I used to really like the freedom categories, but lately they have been weak. PayPal only in December ruined the ability to use for Black Friday shopping. Yes, it did. And they probably did that on purpose, I would guess. Basmo says, regarding quarterly rotation cards, I bought some Amazon category stickers and put them on my player 2 cards. Makes it easy. Could do those with multiple custom caches as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it. And we did it for a long time. It's just like, I just think they're so obsolete compared to what the custom cache has done. Rupani says, does anyone have 2 venture cards? As I think the limit is across venture versus other personal cards, Saver, Quicksilver. I believe you can, but must wait 48 months. Well, that's possible. I don't know because I'm out. I have a Venture X authorized user card because of Nona, but I can't get them. There ain't no way they'd approve me. JB Rothman, the Strata Elite has a 6x multiplier on Friday and Saturday, but 3x the rest of the week. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay. I thought you meant they change it month to month. Like, I don't know what I thought you meant, but yes, that's absolutely true. And that is, I guess that's something to keep track of, but I don't know. I don't think about it a lot because I just pull it out. If it's Friday or basically I just have my brain trained that if it's Friday or Saturday, I pull it out. The rest of the week, I just use the Prestige card. Hybrid Vortex, he was probably talking about City Nights. Yeah, that's what he was. All right, Sleepy Rod, anyone take advantage of the British Airways shopping portal error of 250x multiplier on Kate Spade? What? I didn't know about that. Looks like it will be honored. 250x multiplier. Man, I wish I would have known about that. That I would have bought some kind of Christmas gift early or something. Points Dexter, I have 3 Capital One cards, and I've heard of people with 4. Well, that's not what's supposed to happen, but I'm glad it worked out for you and them. Source King, channel member, do you know if Citi includes PayPal in their online retailers category? I don't. I haven't done that before, but I'm sure somebody will know. Sleepy Rod, did you sell that bag? All right. We got 69 watching. That's awesome. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Appreciate it. Let's go to the next comment here. All right. This is for my video, Chase and City Setup for Domestic Travel. Same video as we talked about last time. Well, Thomas Staple said Ink Business Preferred is automatically too complicated for the majority of consumers because it's a business card. I would suggest keeping all the City cards you mentioned and just use Choice as the hotel transfer partner with a 1-to-2 ratio. And the City Strata Premier has 3x on travel anyway. Yes, and to respond to Thomas, I had already done a video on an all City setup. And that's exactly what I said. You use Choice at 1-to-2 or use I Prefer at 1-to-4. But this video was designed for a person specifically wanting to get some kind of redemption at Hyatt. But I really wanted to address the first part of the comment there where he said it's business cards are automatically too complicated for most consumers. Well, I think we all know that if you babysit or if you mow somebody's grass or if you sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, that pretty much qualifies you for a business card. And Chase and American Express seem to be the easiest ones on that. So I guess I would say that it might scare some normal people, but I don't think it's hard, right? Anybody who's gotten a business card from them knows it's not really hard. So I guess that's why I didn't feel out of place to recommend it to regular folks, because I would have if we're talking about the Wyndham, the Wyndham business card or something where they make you turn in documents and all that stuff. But Chase is pretty easy. So Wapani, do not have built card, but getting the 2.0 card. But until then, I use the Saver card for 3x neighborhood dining and 3x from built. So it's total 6x. That's great. I wish I had a neighborhood dining restaurant within a couple hours of me. I'd be doing some of that too. Sleepy Rod, Dim, that's my purse. Okay. Love it, says Dem. And Tampa Travel, Bob, did you ever call to get your AA Executive 100 card? No. I said we had winter craziness here. Everybody around us is losing power and water pipes busting and everything. So no, I've just barely kept everything together. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try for sure because I'm excited about that. Just to have, some of my old cards I'm trying to keep. Some of the really cool ones like the Delta 747 cards and stuff like that to maybe someday do a display of my old canceled cards. So I would love to have that one for having in the future. All right, 70 watching. That's a good number. That's a good number. Next slide. This is also on the City and Chase. Basmo says, be careful using that ink business card for non-business travel as they will want business travel documentation if you need their insurance. Okay, that's interesting. I guess I don't even think about that because I don't ever think about insurances. And who was the YouTuber that was talking about it recently about not thinking about, I remember who it was, about not thinking about, they said that the travel insurances mean less to a person when they haven't traveled very much or they haven't traveled a lot. And yeah, for me, I just don't think about it because I have status with the airlines and pretty much every time I've ever had a problem, and I've been traveling heavy for like 15 to 20 years, and every problem, and I've had problems. I mean, I've flown through Chicago a lot. And if you fly through Chicago in the winter, you're going to have problems. But the airlines have always taken care of me. So I guess I don't think about it that much. So that's probably bad on me, but this is something to take note of that. Yes, you'll need business documentation if you have a problem and you want to use their insurances on that ink business card. All right. James says Chicago. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chicago O'Hara. That I think my least favorite airport to fly through. It's also a lounge desert. If you haven't noticed, it's pretty rough in that way. JB Rothman, if you fly through Chicago at any time, you're going to have problems. Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Anytime. So true. Okay. Let's go to the next one here. We got about 8 minutes left. This is on the recent video, same one about Chase and City. Robert says, City Strata Premier, $95, 3X dining, 3X gas, 3X supermarkets, 3X airfare, and 3X hotels. Build Obsidian with the accelerator. It's talking about paying your mortgage with it, $95. So you get 4X in whatever is the higher dining or grocery, because the Obsidian, you get to choose one or the other. 3X travel, which includes cruise lines, 2X everything else. Maybe custom cash if you handle one more card for entertainment transit. So I thought this was a cool setup. I haven't gotten to Bill yet on this domestic travel setup, but I want to thank Robert because I think that's a pretty good breakdown. All right, we got 67 watching, 44 have hit the like button. Thank you for that. James says, if you collect baseball cards, Chicago National every year. Okay. Chicago National. Izzy says, I got the City branch offer for the Elite, but haven't applied yet. Still between the Elite and the Summit cards. Thoughts? Ooh, that's a tough one. It kind of depends. I think the Elite's better if you don't travel internationally and spend a lot of money outside the country a lot, unless you're looking for status with an airline, because then now the Summit card is going to get you a lot more. So, I mean, I think that Summit card is great, and I'm juggling it myself because it's great. It's the best airline card possibly that there is. So, I mean, yeah, it's really good. It's the best in some ways. It's kind of lacking in other ways, like Lounge Access isn't near as good as others, but it's for status and stuff. It's great. The spending multiplier outside the U.S., great. So it's kind of dependent on what your needs are. Source King says Chicago winners build character. Yeah, I lived in Detroit for several years. Area. Yeah, I know. Izzy says ORD is my hub, and it is a lounge desert. That's why I have the City Advantage Executive card. Yep. You better have lounge access to United Clubs or American if you're flying out of there. Wupani, use VentureX for international and city for domestic travel. Thoughts? Now, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, because city's going to give you American Airlines, great for domestic, and VentureX gives you lots of foreign partners, and it earns a lot of points. So yeah, I think that's a good setup. Dim says, get it, Rewards Master, 3.3x. Yep, it's good. It's good. It's on my list. Sleepy Rod, Rewards Master. What's your personal take on buying groups? Catch-all is good in theory, but unless you spend a ton, hard to earn points outside of a sub. I haven't done the buying groups thing much yet. I know some people do. Any kind of MS, if you know what I'm saying, is I've kind of shied away from it myself, except for maybe some gift card stuff. So Dem says gives you that online on dining too. Yep. Yeah, but that don't compare to Prestige. So that's where we're at on that. You're in the same boat as me, I think. All right, 67 in here. Got 5 minutes left, maybe enough for one or two more. Again, on the same video, Joe Phillips says, just got the ink preferred, but now I'm working toward the ink cash for the 5X on a lot of those same categories. I only put this one in because I love the ink cash. It's the one ink card I have, and I love it. It's no annual fee. 5X at office supply stores that have all sorts of gift cards. So I'll let you extrapolate that and do that as you will. For some of my channel members, I have some videos that I'm going to be making soon about some strategies with that. Okay. This is on my video that I don't want to, but I want to, but I can't cancel the VentureX. So I was expressing my frustration with the VentureX card, but I did the math on all my cards last year, and it made me a lot. I mean, I got a lot of value from it. So that was what the video was about. And it was amazing to me. All the people were like defending the VentureX, and the video is saying I'm not going to cancel it. That was so funny. It's like, I think people didn't watch the whole video. That's what I'm thinking. But Thiak says, the VentureX is the only card with primary insurance on car rentals that can be used in the Capital One travel portal. How about that advantage? Well, that's a good advantage, but there are cards with primary. Bill used to have it, but now you can use either of the Sapphire cards and you're going to get primary or VentureX. And I suppose that's good, but I don't rent cars through the portal. So, but he made a good observation there. We got 67 in here watching. Dem says there's a 100K summit sub floating around. Oh, I'm going to look for that. Thank you. I'm going to look for that. Hey, Dem, how are their approvals? I mean, if you've got pretty high velocity, how are they on approvals? You might know, but if you do, let me know. 68 still in here. Next video, navigating the built cash craziness. Sci-fi fan says, this will be interesting to see how all this plays out. I have a feeling that some influencers will be feeling some built fatigue after jumping through built hoops for the next year or so longer. Yeah, as influencers, I mean, that's what they're going to do, is they're going to try to navigate through all of it so they have something to talk about. So yeah, the built fatigue might be a real thing for sure. Still got 67. We got about 2 minutes left before we hit the time that I usually try to hit to. So too complicated, unsustainable. This is the video where I was talking about built, and I defended it as being what I think is sustainable. I mean, and go back and watch that video. It's too much for me to explain right here, but I think that their business model might very well be sustainable. And I know that's crazy, but I think it might be. And Chad says, I see them losing customers by the thousands and thousands. Not doing all the math. I'll pay my rent with my own ACH. Built not taking it off credit limit, and from your linked bank seems to be the downfall. Yeah. He's talking about Built doesn't take it off your available credit on your card. Now you can't float the payment. That doesn't bother me anyway. I always have the money before I spend on my card, so I'm never floating anything. But the thing that he says here about losing thousands and thousands of customers, I think that's true, but I'm hearing a lot of people say they've never had a Built card and they're signing up for one because of mortgages. So I think it's a balancing thing. I think they are going to lose people, but I think they're getting a different kind of customer. And I'm not sure that that's not what they wanted anyway. That's not what they wanted anyway. All right. RC was my first channel member ever. Great to see you, RC. Says, hey, good to have you here. Dim says, I was approved with my velocity for both the summit and ascent 2 days apart. They pull once every 30 days. Pretty heavy velocity in 2025. All right, that helps me. Thanks. RC said, I missed this one. We'll watch it back. That's all right. Good to have you here for a few minutes at the end. T.S. Anderson, I started doing direct deposit with B of A and hopefully get approved for the summit to pair with built points. Okay, that'd be good. T.S. Anderson says 25K companion pass. Yep, that's a great feature of that card for sure. Source King, I was making a booking for 10 nights at a Hilton to score 2 fifth night freebies and use a free night certificate to only pay for 7 nights with the points, but I was told I can't use both. Can't use 2 free night certificates? Or can't use 2 fifth night frees? I don't know. I've used 2 free night certificates back to back, so that can't be what you're meaning. But I've never tried to book that many hotel rooms in a row. So Hybrid Vortex says the people that read headlines but not articles watch videos. Yep. Background Balloon, haven't gotten around to the video yet, but looking forward to watching it. All right, I hope you enjoy it. All right, well, we're out of time. We're an hour and 1 minute, so I always try to keep them about an hour. So let me go back through and thank everybody who was supportive tonight. Y'all are always I'm so humbled by your support and how much you are supportive of me and other YouTubers. Kevin gave a $5 super chat. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that, Kevin P. Big Kurt 1964 gave a $2 super chat. Appreciate that very, very much. Happy Tom gifted a Rewards Master membership. Thank you, Happy Tom. Polygraph Zone gave a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Polygraph Zone. Happy Tom became a member himself. And Dr. Godo became a member also. So thank you for everybody who was supportive of the channel tonight. Deeply appreciative. And one more just came in. Look at this. RC, always a great supporter. $1.99. Appreciate it, RC, very, very much. Tampa Travel, great live, Bop. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. I'll have a live coming up. What I'm going to do on Sunday is I'm planning to go through and rank all of these built cash redemption possibilities. So that's what I'm planning to do Sunday. Hope all of you will be back for that. And I will see you here next time.